Well, hi there and welcome. Thanks for attending the Geospatial Technology Program webinar. My name's Emily Fox. I'm the Virtual Learning Admission Counselor here at HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College, and I'm glad you're taking the time to learn more about this exciting program here today. Before we get started, please know that the presenters are the only one with microphone rights, but your participation is very welcome using the chat box. You can ask any questions or comment in the top right chat box. Also, we do have some web links available below the chat box, right below the pictures. You'll see some different links that you can refer to. We'll be mentioning throughout the presentation today. So before we jump in and learn more about the Geospatial Technology program here at HACC, I'd like to give you a little bit of a background about HACC in case you're new to hearing about HACC. HACC stands for Harrisburg Area Community College, but we more commonly refer to ourselves as HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College, because we reach so much further than just the Harrisburg area. So you can see on this slide we have various campus locations. They're all throughout the Central Pennsylvania area: Gettysburg, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Lebanon, York, as well as virtual learning options which can be done essentially from anywhere. So today you'll have the opportunity to learn about the fully online geospatial diploma at HACC. And if you're interested, some of the program courses are also offered on the Harrisburg campus. Additionally, HACC has a Geospatial Career Associate degree, which can be completed with a combination of courses on the Harrisburg campus and online. Our real expert with us for the presentation is Nicole Ernst. Nicole started teaching at HACC in 2005, and she currently teaches all of the GIS courses in the Geospatial Technology curriculum at HACC. And when you hear her various experience, education, and her involvement, you'll understand her true credibility here in the field. Nicole has a bachelor's degree in political science and environmental studies, as well as a master's degree in geography. Nicole has worked as a cartographer for the National Park Service in Bighorn Canyon in Montana, Wyoming, as well as Outer Banks Group of Parks in North Carolina. Nicole also worked with the Wright Brothers Centennial Celebration Planning Team tasked with organizing the 100th anniversary of flight. Additionally, Nicole worked as a GIS analyst for the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board, where she used GIS analysis to annually rank farms for easement protection. Nicole's been teaching and advising at HACC since 2005, but she also manages the Mine Mapping Grant Award from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, where over a 3-year period HACC will scan, georeference, and digitize 500 anthracite maps that will eventually become part of Pennsylvania's Mine Map Atlas. Nicole was awarded with Distinguished Geospatial Educator by the National Geospatial Technology Center for Excellence in 2014. Plus, every year since 2009, Nicole has served as co-chair for the Central Pennsylvania's GIS Day, which you'll hear more about later on in the webinar. If you think that's not enough, Nicole is actively involved with a multitude of GIS and geography organizations such as Pennsylvania Mapping and Geographic Information Consortium, Pennsylvania Alliance for Geographic Education, and Pennsylvania Geography Society. So we're fortunate to have this incredible woman here with us today. Without further ado, I'd like to hand the microphone to Nicole Ernst.
Thank you, Emily, for the introduction, and welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Whether you know it or not, we are in the midst of a geospatial revolution. Location-based technology is prolific. It is everywhere, and you use it in your everyday life, from checking how traffic will be on your way home to looking at how Pennsylvania counties voted in the recent primary elections. Today we are going to explore geospatial technology and the education and career pathways that are available in the field. Because many of you signed up for this webinar, you probably had some preconceived notion of what geospatial technology is. But if you didn't, I'm going to go over the technologies that are part of geospatial technology. Geospatial technology is a collection of location-based technologies: GIS or Geographic Information Systems, remote sensing, global positioning systems or GPS, UAV, UAS, which is we commonly refer to as drones, and geospatial intelligence. When we talk about GIS, Geographic Information Systems, essentially what this is it provides you the ability to link features that you see on a map to databases so that you can ask your map questions and get fast, accurate results back. For instance, the map that you're seeing here on screen is a map of Pennsylvania counties showing you population for the various counties. That data that makes up this map is located in what's called an attribute table that gives us the population numbers. So we are able to render maps based on this information to create maps that show the population. Or we can ask the map questions such as how many counties had more than 500,000 people in 2010, and it would give us the results back on the map. So it's really a powerful technology for understanding geographic types of questions. Geospatial technology also includes remote sensing, and this happens to be one of my favorite areas of geospatial technology. The image that I'm showing here is an image that was taken of Sudan a number of years ago when Sudan was engaged in a civil war. The Sudan government wouldn't allow UN peacekeepers into the country, so instead of going into the country, we looked at it from above using satellite imagery and aerial photography, and we were able to see where they had different munitions stored, where mass graves were because they were being accused of genocide, so it just helped make the case for the UN on why they needed to be in Sudan giving some help. But again, satellite remote sensing is essentially satellite imagery or aerial photography. Another part of geospatial technology is global positioning systems, and this is probably what you might be most familiar with because we're all lucky enough to have it on our smartphones, and it helps us get from point A to point B. What we did before GPS, I'm not really sure, but this is a technology that is pervasive and is everywhere. We use it on our smartphones and in everyday life a lot of times for navigation reasons. However, GPS can also be used to do data collection. You can actually go map information with certain types of GPS units, and that's something that is covered in the Geospatial Technology program. A new and exciting upcoming area of geospatial technology is unmanned aerial systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, commonly known as drones. In the geospatial industry, we're a little bit snobby about what we call them, so we use the fun acronyms, but most of us know them as drones. But drones allow us to collect imagery of certain geographies, and it allows us to do it in a quick way so that we have information. For instance, a really good example of when drones were used was during the Gulf oil spill a number of years ago. They wanted to see the extent of the oil spill in the Gulf, so they sent up a couple of drones. They got imagery almost immediately, and then they were able to process it right afterwards so that they could monitor that situation just a little bit better. And then another up and coming area of geospatial technology is something that's called GeoInt, or geospatial intelligence. And this happens to be an excellent career path for those of you that might have military experience, because it really transitions well into this because of your your military clearances and so forth. But geospatial intelligence is essentially just combining GIS and remote sensing to be able to make intelligence decisions. An example of when this technology was used is when the Navy SEALs went in to get Osama bin Laden. That was all using geospatial technology to have a sense of what was going on around where he was located. So hopefully some of those technologies sound really exciting to you. And I think one of the neat things about geospatial technology is the fact that you can look at almost anything that has some type of geography or spatial component to it. So you might not really want to do just pure geospatial. You might want to apply it to a specific area, like how you can apply geospatial into business, or how it can be used in environmental studies. Anything that has that spatial component, you can utilize this technology. But if you are interested in working toward a degree or a career in geospatial, there are going to be several skills that are needed to make you phenomenal in the field. The first thing that is important is, are you a spatial thinker? Are you able to look at spatial relationships and how different things are related, looking at patterns and trends? So having a really good background in geography is helpful, and having a good understanding of how to use and read maps. And this is not necessarily something you have to have coming into the program. We will help you with all of that type of thing, but having an interest in that to enter into a geospatial technology program is really important. The other thing that's important are having computer skills. Again, you don't have to be a techie to be successful in the geospatial field, but you have to have the ability to pick up various computer skills. You're not just using one program or two programs, you're combining lots of different technologies to be able to come to an answer. Programming skills. Right now, the hot programming language in GIS is Python, as well as Java. So having, just maybe one programming language under your belt is helpful. I will freely admit I'm no programmer. I kind of piece it together, by bits and pieces, but it is something that is really going to write you a good ticket in the geospatial industry if you have that programming experience. Another thing is knowing about databases and relational databases, having technical writing skills, having visualization skills, how you can take a spreadsheet of information and make that a visualization that is easy to understand for an audience. And then the last thing is interpersonal skills. And I know that's not really a hard skill, it's a soft skill, but in geospatial technology, you oftentimes work with large teams of people. Everybody comes to you for maps and data and analysis. So having interpersonal skills and being able to work with lots of different types of people at different levels is a really important skill to gain while you're pursuing your educational degree. So in terms of career opportunities and job titles, there are a lot of different types of career opportunities. There's opportunities in the private sector, in government, and in nonprofits. And our guest today, in a few minutes, is from a nonprofit, and we'll talk about her experience in working in geospatial in the nonprofit world. But in the private sector, there are a number of engineering companies, private GIS consulting firms that hire people with a geospatial technology degree. Government entities are huge employers of individuals with a degree in geospatial, from the federal government, the state government, and local government. At the federal level, agencies like the National Park Service, like the Bureau of Land Management, the Forest Service, the U.S. Census Bureau, and the list goes on in terms of the opportunities at that federal level. At the state level, in Pennsylvania specifically, a lot of our state agencies leverage GIS and geospatial technology, such as the Department of Conservation of Natural Resources, the Department of Environmental Protection, or the Department of Health, the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission. So the opportunities in there are quite abundant. And then at the local level, every county in the state of Pennsylvania, for the most part, has a GIS department that manages property data. Additionally, most counties have a planning commission that use GIS to look at comprehensive planning and transportation planning. So government is a huge employer of individuals with a geospatial background. And then finally, nonprofits. Agencies like the Nature Conservancy, the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, use GIS to manage their conservation lands and look at habitat growth and retraction, looking at forest fragmentation and so forth. So there's a lot of different opportunities that are available. And even if you just do a Google search on GIS jobs, you're going to see an amazing array of different entities that are using GIS. And that's perhaps one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you today, is the best way to learn about what is available is just do searches on GIS jobs, and you will learn about what types of credentials that they're looking for an entry-level person to have in terms of degree, the numbers of years of experience, and just the types of skills that are needed in those particular positions. In terms of career opportunities, there are a lot of geospatial individuals that have a certain leaning in terms of where they like to work. For instance, most of my background is in government, and I know I won't be a good fit for the private sector, while there's others that are a really good fit for the private sector that won't necessarily be a good fit for government. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of opportunities, and you can really kind of tailor it to whatever your interests are. In terms of job titles, this is a little bit tricky. The ones that you see listed there, geospatial technician, GIS technician, cartographic technician, GIS analyst, and developer are some of the more common geospatial titles that you'll see, but oftentimes you'll find that there's not even GIS or geospatial in the job title, but you're still doing geospatial types of things. And our guest here in a few minutes is a testament to that, because her job title is none of these things that is seen here. So that can be a little bit of an impediment to finding geospatial jobs, just because it's not as clear-cut as some other industries and professions might be. But if you start searching on these job titles, these are largely the entry-level positions that exist for those interested in geospatial technology. In terms of the program that HACC has to offer, we have two programs. We have the Associates of Science degree, and then we have the diploma program. As Emily mentioned when we signed on, the diploma program is available completely online and is 18 credits. The Associates of Science is 67 credits, and that can be achieved by a combination of classes from the virtual campus, as well as from the other campuses like Harrisburg, York, and so forth. So there are a lot of opportunities to get classes at other campuses. In terms of the courses that are part of the diploma and associates program, the courses are Introduction to GIS, Cartographic Design, Data Acquisition and Remote Sensing, Advanced GIS, and Professional Issues in GIS. To give a brief overview of each of them, Intro to GIS is the intro-level class where you learn the basics of a GIS and the most common GIS program that's out there, ArcGIS. By the end of the course, you are able to make and create maps. You're able to find data and create data that you need for your maps. You're able to do terrain analysis, looking at various things like slope, view, shed, and aspect. And you also learn how to do some basic web mapping. So you are very dangerous after that Intro to GIS course with a really good skill set under your belt. All the upper level courses then build on that foundation of the skills that you learn in the intro class. Cartographic Design is all about geographic visualization, and we use various topics and products in order to do visualizations. So you'll be learning how to make very refined and polished maps. You'll learn how to do professional quality reports and charts. You'll learn how to design web maps. So there's a lot going on in the cartographic design class. As we get to the upper level classes, they are more project-based than they are assignment-based. So you a lot of times are working on larger projects projects every week, and everything that you do each week ties into that overall project. We then have data acquisition and remote sensing. That course is actually a combination of two things. We talk about how to find and acquire GIS data, what are the sources, how do you create it, how do you manage it, and how do you create metadata for your data. And then we also talk about remote sensing, looking at satellite imagery and aerial photography, and we do projects that use that technology to analyze specific phenomena. This semester we looked at forest fragmentation due to Marcellus shale drilling in Sproul State Forest. So we got Landsat imagery and looked at change over time as a result of drilling. The Advanced GIS class is almost like a capstone course where we have a semester-long project that we do. Sometimes this is a team project, sometimes it's an individual project. Last year, we did a food access study for the Camp Curtin neighborhood of Harrisburg. This year, we are going to be looking at enrollment trends for Harrisburg Area Community College over the last 5 years. So the project changes based on what's going on. We try to do something timely in there. And then finally, the Professional Issues in GIS course. It's a one-credit course that has you learning about the career opportunities and pathways available in geospatial technology, and it also has you reaching out to the geospatial industry in Pennsylvania. You will be meeting with a lot of different GIS professionals from the public sector, the private sector, and from nonprofits. So these are the core classes of the program. Regardless of which program you seek, the diploma or the associates, there are transfer options available. But before I get to the transfer options, just one last note about the associates and the diploma program and which one is right for you. If you are an individual that already has a 2-year or 4-year degree or beyond, the diploma program is really the appropriate program for you because that's the add-on to an existing degree. If you don't have any type of degree, you're starting from scratch, the Associates of Science is the program for you. Now, there's one little last detail with that, too. Let's say you are here at HACC or some other institution, and let's say you're here at HACC working on an environmental science degree. The diploma program is a really nice add-on to environmental science because you will be doing a lot of GIS in an environmental science profession, and that's the case in a lot of other areas, too, such as business, architecture, planning, and so forth. So think of the diploma almost like an academic minor. That is something that you can just add on to another degree, and so that you have just a little bit more skills than the competition that you'll be competing against for those jobs. So in terms of transfer options, the two schools that are the most popular among HACC geospatial students are Shippensburg University and Harrisburg University. We are currently working on an articulation agreement with Shippensburg University where a number of your courses from the associates or diploma would transfer into their geo-environmental studies bachelor's degree. And it's going to be probably at least about 30 to 60 credits, somewhere in that range. So they have an excellent program. They have about 5 or 6 GIS faculty. So they have a wealth of knowledge at that institution, and it's a very wonderful transfer opportunity. The other school is Harrisburg University, which is located in downtown Harrisburg. They are one of the few schools that has a 4-year geospatial technology program. So if you're interested in keeping with geospatial technology, that's a good option to pursue. Another option for those of you that might know a high school student, or you might be a high school student yourself, we have a dual enrollment program where you could actually finish your diploma in your junior and senior years in high school. You can take one class a semester and then leave high school with that diploma. That would then transfer into HACC, should you wish to do that, or it could transfer into another institution should you choose not to go to HACC. But it's a great opportunity to get college credits while you are in high school. I already talked about the program courses, so I won't belabor that any longer. But I just wanted to maybe showcase a couple of ways geospatial is applied to other disciplines, because it's not about the technology, it's about problem solving in various areas. And these are some of the ways that geospatial can be applied to different sectors. In business, a lot of businesses will use GIS to map out their customers and then take a look at what their demographic characteristics are. What is the median household income of where they live? What is the age cohorts? What is the ethnicity and so forth? So it can help them really understand who their customers are. If you ever went to like a Walmart or a Target and they ask you what your zip code is, the reason that they're asking you that is so that they can map you, so that they can build that profile of who comes to their store. They can also then see how far you are willing to travel to come to that store, which then helps them with the second thing there. Where should I put my next store? If they're getting a lot of customers coming from one area, they might be able to justify putting another store at a location that's more suitable for a particular segment of population. In environmental science and geology, and I put this here for the environmental science folks, because there's a lot of environmental science students that take GIS classes, but GIS is really used heavily in phase 1 environmental site assessments, where you are essentially doing existing conditions of a particular area, like looking at like what's the aerial photo look like, what's the slope like there, what are the what's the infrastructure there, where are the utilities, where are the roads, and so forth. So you can look at a lot of different variables with phase 1 site assessments. Another thing that you can look at is habitat change, how habitats change over time. In computer information systems, one of the big ways that it's applied there is in the building of web maps. In the social sciences, it can be used to map where blight is in Harrisburg and then what are the demographic characteristics of those blighted neighborhoods. We can look at election patterns of 2016, which I think we are all probably getting overwhelmed with at this particular moment in time with all the news and all the wonderful maps that they've been showing. We can be looking at the migration patterns of Syrian refugees. Where did they originate from and where did they go, using what route? We can use geospatial in healthcare. Where did Ebola originate in 2014 and how did it spread? What was the rate of the spread? We could look at where cancer clusters are and what environmental factors might have contributed to those clusters. And then one of my favorite areas is always in the humanities and in history. We could actually model what generally could see at Gettysburg at certain points of the battle by looking at a view shed and so forth. And then something that's actually currently going on is Harrisburg is using it for their City Beautiful movement to identify important resources that they want to preserve in perpetuity so that future citizens have the opportunity to enjoy those resources. So the point of these last couple of slides was just to show you how GIS can be applied in a lot of different ways and why it's so important to have some background in geospatial technology. Even if you're not going to be a geospatial major, it's something, a skill, almost like Microsoft Word, that you should have to make yourself a little bit more marketable and functional in any career path that you might end up pursuing. So I would like the opportunity to introduce Ms. Rachel Walls. She is a conservation lands manager with the Nature Conservancy, and Rachel graduated from Millersburg University back in 2005. After she graduated from Millersville University, she started at HACC in the certificate program and completed that while she was also working on her master's degree in geoenvironmental studies at Shippensburg University. Rachel has also been the tutor for the GIS program for about 8 or 9 years, so she knows.
Thanks so much, Nicole. I'm very happy to be here today to talk about the program. I truly believe I wouldn't have the career I have today without the skills I've learned from the Geospatial Technology program. Just a little bit of backup of myself and how I decided to go to the program. I had received, like Nicole said, a bachelor's degree in geography, and right after graduation I knew I needed more training if I was going to hold a job as a GIS technician. Having grown up in the Harrisburg area, I was excited to learn that such a program existed at HACC, and I couldn't wait to get started. Just after only taking 2 classes, I was encouraged by Nicole to apply for a GIS internship with the Nature Conservancy, where I work today. I can say without a doubt that I wouldn't have advanced into this wonderful career that I've held now for 10 years without the education, skills, and experience I received from HACC. I had the bachelor's degree, but the technology like GIS, without those technical skills that I learned about the software, I wouldn't have been able to complete the necessary tasks that my employer was requesting. So a typical day for me in this office, well, let me back up a little bit. So the Nature Conservancy, our mission, we're an environmental nonprofit, and our mission is to conserve the lands and waters on which all life depends. We work throughout the world. That's a mighty mission, and GIS is used throughout our organization to help identify our priorities and set goals for us. Myself, I think my picture is a little misleading. I actually sit in the office most of my days, but I do get to go out sometimes. We do have other staff that go out, a lot of land stewards that are managing that use GIS, but there are also staff like myself where we sit and we do a lot of the desktop GIS work, mainly using Esri products, which HACC does teach you on those programs. This program offer is like no other. The classes build on each other, allowing students to learn many skills. It's constantly advancing, so even myself, having completed the HACC program, I'm always looking and trying to get more education. So as HACC's program is advancing, because it does, I'll be also thinking about coming back and taking some of those courses again. So thank you to Nicole for putting such a wonderful program together and having me here today to talk about my experience.
Thank you, Rachel, for providing your feedback and further information from a student perspective on the Geospatial Technology program. To close out my portion of the webinar, if you want to learn more about geospatial technology, first of all, please contact me. I love to talk about geospatial technology, as you can probably guess from my enthusiasm for the discipline. Contact me to set up either a face-to-face appointment, or we can meet online via a Google Hangout. You can also visit my YouTube channel, where I am starting to share lots of different resources and how-to videos in GIS, so that you can get a little bit acclimated to what geospatial is and how you can leverage it in your particular area. You could also go to the Geospatial Revolution website. The Geospatial Revolution is a 4-episode series from Penn State University talking about how geospatial is used in many different applications. It's about 10 to 15 different little case studies that show how the technology is leveraged and what you can do with it. And quite frankly, the Geospatial Revolution series of videos are very inspiring. It will make you want to become a geospatial technology professional, because you have to say, I need to do this after those videos, because they are just they are just so inspiring to individuals. The other thing that you can get involved in is our Central Pennsylvania GIS Day. It is a one-day conference that we hold every year, and this is a partnership between HACC, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the Nature Conservancy, and Esri. So we have a lot of powerhouses coming in for that day, and we have an exhibit hall where GIS companies and nonprofits and state agencies kind of show off what they've been doing for the last year in GIS. And we also have concurrent sessions where you can go to many different sessions, just walking in and out without having to sign up, and it just helps you learn a little bit more about the field of study, and it helps you to network with geospatial technology professionals. The more they see your face, the more likely you are to be hired in that particular company. So I welcome you to join us on November 16th this year at HACC Midtown. The event starts at 10 a.m. We'll have more information and detailed schedules out probably by the end of June. So with that, feel free as we wind down to put any questions that you might have into the chat box, but I'm going to turn this back over to Emily Fox.
Wow, well, thank you to Nicole and also to Rachel. It's so nice to hear an overview of the geospatial program and really the exciting possibilities within the field. So I'm sure you as participants in this webinar found the same. I would like to turn the program over to talking a little bit more about the admission process, more about HACC. How can you make this a reality to become a student here at HACC? So first, I'd like to touch briefly on some resources that are available to you as a student. And please keep in mind, we have many, many, many different resources. However, I will touch on a few today. You can check out a sample course online. I have the web link there in the bottom right-hand corner to get into the sample course, to see what it's like to take a quiz, to post on a discussion board, just navigate around. You can click on the link. You will need to use HACC student as a username and password. There's also a self-assessment. Maybe you're not sure if online learning is a good fit for you or not. Certainly we have many people in this world and attending HACC that love online classes, but it's not for everybody. So we do have a self-assessment quiz, 20 questions you can go through to find out if it's a good fit for you. Some other resources, tutoring is available on campus as well as online 24/7. We understand our virtual learning students many times are busy individuals, so maybe you're working on your coursework at 2 a.m. We have tutoring available as well as iTunes U courses and collections, which can be used as supplemental material similar to the same idea as tutoring. Career Services is also available to our students, whether you need some assistance putting together a resume, practicing your interviewing skills, or even making connections in the community with various opportunities for internships or possibly even jobs. Two other resources I'll talk about. The Student Resource Center and Lounge is something that we offer within our learning management system called Brightspace by Desire to Learn. So as a virtual learning student, you're signing in to an online classroom essentially. We have a Student Resource Center and Lounge to allow you to have the opportunity to interact with other students or interact with staff or faculty members, ask your questions, say your comments. That's what the Student Resource Center and Lounge is all about. And the last resource I'll touch on is our Virtual Learning Student Advisory Council. It's essentially the student government association for our virtual learning students. They meet regularly online and really have some great initiatives that they're working on this time. So some things to keep in mind and some great resources that you may want to take advantage of if you become a HACC student. I'd also like to go through the steps to admissions. If you're a new student thinking about coming through HACC, this is a brief overview of the admission steps. You will have my contact information at the end of this presentation too, so if you need some further detail or clarification, you're welcome to reach out to me. But the first step is to complete an application at hacc.edu/apply. It's free to fill out an application, and I would encourage you to do so today if you're hoping to get started here at HACC. We also encourage students to fill out their free application for federal student aid, financial aid if you're looking to get any type of aid. You can do so at fafsa.gov. Also, we do recommend that students complete placement testing. Now, keep in mind for the Geospatial Technology Diploma, students do not need to go through placement testing, but generally for any program or for the associate degree, students are required to go through placement testing, which tests students in math, reading, and writing, and it can be done online or any campus location. We also have students go through new student orientation. If you plan to take all online courses, you simply would just need to take the online new student orientation found in your MyHACC account. If you are taking classes on a campus, we do encourage you to go to the campus new student orientation as well. After the new student orientation, you'll work closely with Nicole, who you heard is truly an expert within this field. She knows the program inside and out, so you know you're in good hands picking your classes with Nicole. And then from there, pay tuition. We do strive to be very affordable here at HACC, but still giving you that quality education. So for the 2016-2017 school year, to give you a feel for our tuition rates, it's $217.50 per credit for students in one of HACC's 22 sponsored school districts. So a lot of those school districts are within the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area. It's $259.50 per credit for students who reside in the state of Pennsylvania in a non-sponsored school district, and it's $307.50 per credit for students outside of Pennsylvania. So regardless of where you live, we strive to be affordable, and we hope that you see it as a feasible next step. We're here to support you along the way. So keep in mind, we do have a summer term coming up. Fall classes will also be starting at the end of August. Rolling admissions here, so you can apply when you would like and register for classes pretty much up until the start of the term. We're here to support you along the way. We will open it up for questions here shortly, but a great opportunity for you to take part in is the HACC virtual Twitter chat. Nicole and I will be offering a Twitter chat this coming Monday, May 16th at 12 p.m. Half an hour Twitter chat where you can come in, ask your questions, and we will also be having a conversation talking even more about the Geospatial Technology program. So I hope you're able to join us for the Twitter chat this coming Monday. Also, this slide here lists our contact information. I know Nicole's very willing to help with questions that you may have, as am I, Emily Fox. I work a lot on the admission side. Nicole certainly knows the program inside and out. So between the two of us, we're happy to support you however we can. You also see the HACC phone number and web page, which you can refer to for some answers as well. But I know you've been given a lot of information. I do want to open it up. If there are any questions, feel free to type it in the chat box there in the top right corner. Nicole's still here, Rachel's still with us, and then Emily. So if you have any questions for Rachel, who's working in the field, went through HACC's program, maybe you have some questions for Nicole, who teaches here, has also had some experience in the field, or maybe you have some admission questions as far as how do I go through these steps? Can you clarify that a little bit more? Any questions you have, feel free to type it there in the chat box. And while you're thinking of your questions that you may have, I would like to thank Nicole and also Rachel for taking the time to share their expertise, share their experience. Thank you so much. Well, it doesn't look like there's any questions coming through. Keep in mind, Nicole and I will be offering the Twitter chat on Monday, so maybe you just need some time to let all of this information digest, and you'll think of your questions later on. Between the Twitter chat that we have on Monday and our contact information here on this slide, feel free to reach out. We thank you for attending today and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.